You're taking a live look right now. Our photojournalist Calista Silva getting a little closer to this fire.
This warm weather starts to make its way into the area ahead of the holiday weekend. I just had to take a dip into the water here myself. Now, people that I spoke to out here tell me that there's been sort of a misconception.
You know, most celebrities and golfers here at the Pro-Am, they walk alongside the gallery, but not Bill Murray. He walks with them, greeting as many as he can.
How are you?
Right now, so just take a look at this here, the traffic building up right around 5 o'clock.
Municipal Airport. I'm going to step out of the way and you can see the single engine Cessna on the ground right there. So I'm sitting behind a hump right now. Let's go ahead and show. I'm sitting on a camel. There are camel rides out here at the Santa Cruz County Fair. I'm going to attempt to do weather on a camel. Our chief photographer, Calista Silva, also on a camel.
Getting off of Air Force One. We'll be addressing the local leaders on the ground, state representatives, again, who put out the
part. The upstairs living space of his house is good. It's just the downstairs. His garage was a mess.
As you can see behind me, has still been an attraction for people to come and take pictures.
This has been an emotional day, one that we keep saying and hearing again and again.
Emery was found along this dirt road behind the Marina Airport. When the car stopped, she ran up to the car and began tapping on the windows. Saldivar then jumped out as Emery hopped into the driver's seat. Saldivar then turned on the heater to help keep Emery warm.
And there's all kinds of cool cars out here.
I thought, we were going to die, and I was texting my parents thinking, like, do I need to say my last I love yous?
All of a sudden, the pilot just said, hold on, and the engine died, and everything inside the plane just shut off. We were like, are we going to be okay? And he was like, I don't know yet. Let me, figure this out. So he tries to restart the plane, and it's not working. The propellers are starting to go, and they stop again. He contacts the Watsonville airport, and he's on the headphones with them, and they're trying to get him to land at the Watsonville airport, but we weren't at a high enough elevation to make it that far. So from there, we were like, okay, we're either going to have to do a freeway landing or a beach landing. The Watsonville airport directed us how to get to the beach.
And I just started thinking, were we going to nosedive down, or were we going to land in trees? And I was thinking, just how is it possible that he's going to be able to land this plane safely?
We went through clouds, and it was so hazy in the clouds, you couldn't see anything. And then all of a sudden we pop out, and we're 500 feet above just open ocean. Thankfully, the pilot just yanked the steering over and directed us over to the beach, and then that's where we landed.
I just felt the biggest sense of relief, and I was shaking so bad. My hands were just completely shaking, and when we landed, me, my boyfriend, and the pilot, we all just hugged each other, and we were just really grateful that everything worked out okay and everyone was safe.
He used to carry Narcan in his pockets so that if somebody found him, they would administer it. He would do it knowing he would die. That's how strong that addiction is. When my son first started doing drugs, the first time he overdosed, he didn't realize what he was getting. It was a Percocet laced with fentanyl. I looked at his journal later after he passed. It said that was the night he realized that was the drug of his choice. He went from experimenting to addicted. I walked in the room one night and found him smoking fentanyl. He jumped up and was, Mom, I'm sorry, I'm so embarrassed. I'm just humiliated. I'm addicted to fentanyl, and I can't get up without doing any because I get sick. I got him immediately on a plane within 24 hours to Mississippi to a rehab there. He was sober and was working the recovery program for 5 months. He was doing so great. I had my son back. The light in his eyes was back. After he was back, almost 6 months, he spoke to a friend. I have the text which says, I can get you some. It's pretty strong. It keeps me from getting sick, so it'll be hella strong for you. I just don't want you to OD or anything. LOL. LOL. That night, my son overdosed. That night, they used his Narcan. It saved a bottom some time as far as breathing. The brain damage was already so severe. I sat next to him for 16 days at his hospital bed, holding his hand, sectioning his mouth, wiping the drool from his mouth, massaging his legs, reading him stories, playing him music. And then on May 7th, he was gone. I would do anything to make sure another parent never felt this loss. And I want people to realize it can be your child. I never thought it would be, and it is so addictive. Look for signs, educate yourself.
Gotta go. We're going to treat it like we do every single year. We're going to prepare our folks to be ready for anything that comes ahead. They're conducting mobile attack, hose lays, and different things throughout the day. We have 79 firefighters that have returned. They'll be out here doing a full 2-week training in order to get back and staff engines in 12 of our wildland stations. With our annual grass crop being as vibrant as it is with the rainfall that we received this winter, we're really honing in this week on the wildland fire atmosphere and the light flashy fuels.
We're making sure that we have all the skills, resources that we need to prepare for this fire season.
There's been a lot of good crew cohesion. Some of us haven't seen each other for a while, so it's nice to all be together and work hard.
And they're just honing their skills for the fire year that we see ahead of us. We did see an extensive amount of rainfall this year. Now, from the rainfall we've seen later in the season, we are anticipating fires to start rather quickly. We do anticipate seeing our helicopter log some more flight hours this year, as they tend to fly around a little bit more when we have the grass crop like we do this year, and we start to see those initial starts.
It's a different experience to see fire behavior from above.
This year's fire season, so far I'm feeling really good. I'm excited for the next 9 months and to be back at work and be with my crew again.
When I think about sustainable fishing, it kind of starts at the top. It starts with the fishermen. You know what I mean? Like, me and David love the ocean. We have a great long-term relationship with the ocean, so we want to do everything we can. Although we are commercial fishermen, we want to preserve the ocean. We're not the typical commercial fishermen, you know, but we definitely try to show everybody how you can do it.
How does the Friendliest Catch crew
Put it in the claw. Oh, it took it. There we go.
make sure they're being eco-friendly while also running a business?
On all our equipment is electric, you know, so we are trying to use everything that's the most efficient and the best for the environment. You know, from our 4-stroke outboard motor, our crab puller. You know, that's a high-speed, you know, really good crab puller, but it's electric.
Part of doing sustainable fishing is also using recycled bait. Like this bait here came from H&H Fish Market here in Santa Cruz. They then take this out to catch the crab in this bucket.
Just drop it right here.
Rockhold also started sharing his ocean adventures on TikTok.
You know, we do this thing called the Barnacle Chronicles, and we basically give this crab a little bit of relief, and then we send it home. So you can take the pliers and everything we encounter out there, you know, we get to share it with our following. So it's really fun.
And they don't just catch crabs. They also catch fish like halibut. But those aren't the only sea creatures getting caught in their pod.
An octopus. How cool is this guy?
Yeah, we roll, David.
All right, put him back.
Rockhold says there are many challenges that face commercial fishermen, but believes that sustainable fishing is the future.
I feel like the way we fish and what we represent is kind of the future of commercial fishing. I really feel like, you know, being sustainable, going far and beyond and being humane, you know, I really feel like it's the future. It's the future of fishing.
Reporting in Santa Cruz, Anna Torrea, KION News Channel 46.
On June 6th, 2020, there was a knock on my door. And that was the beginning of this nightmare that I can't wake up from.
Stephen Carrillo, a former Air Force sergeant turned extremist and self-proclaimed Boogaloo Boy, sat in court before dozens of people whose lives he forever changed 2 years ago. The mother of Sergeant Gutzweiler's children gathering her composure to read a witness statement.
There is no justice for what you have done. There will never be justice. They could kill you 1,000,000 times over and it would never be enough.
Fabi Del Rio gave birth to Sergeant Gutzweiler's daughter 3 weeks after his murder. Their son only 2 years old at the time.
There can never be justice for a little boy who no longer asks for his daddy to come home from work or screams for him in the middle of the night because he knows his daddy will never come. There can never be justice for a sweet, innocent little baby born into the world, taking her first breath after her daddy took his last.
Carrillo's sentencing giving light to the horror that unfolded that day. And for the first time, we're learning who the Good Samaritan was, a man who tackled and detained Carrillo while he tried to escape from law enforcement.
I was very afraid that day. When I tackled the defendant, I didn't want to die, but I was willing to risk my life in order to protect my loved ones and those around me. The deputies who responded to the call that day were also putting their lives on the line to protect our community.
Carrillo hardly turning to face the victims, remaining unbothered and unaffected by their words. The judge sending him to be locked up for the rest of his life without the possibility of parole. Still, the victims having lost so much more.
I can't believe that I will never be able to hug Damon again.
Three of our drone teams with CAL FIRE out of Pebble Beach have been on operational flyovers this week.
The rain keeps coming down, flooding fields in parts of Monterey County. The Monterey County Water Resource Agency making the necessary repairs to make the levees stronger. State agencies also pitching in.
It's allowing us to put these mandatory evacuations in effect a lot further and forecast out rather than making the decision when the crucial need is for the time to be done.
Renan Portier works in Pajaro. He was in San Jose and got a call to come back and get his car because of the evacuation orders that came down.
My thoughts were, just get back here as quick as I can. If it keeps on raining like it's been doing, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop for at least another week or two, they say. So, it's kind of crazy. I mean, we haven't seen it like this in a while.
Miguel Rubio grew up in Watsonville but now lives in Castroville. Rubio also works in Pajaro. He tells me he hasn't seen the river get this high in years. Have you ever seen the water this high before?
Not recently. It's been a couple of years.
When have you ever seen it get this high in the past?
When it used to rain a lot, like 15, 20 years ago.
Both worried that if the river rises and floods, it could cause huge damages to the places they work.
It would be extensive. Yeah, I mean, he's got trucks over there. He's got a shop. He's got other businesses there that he owns.
I work here and we got a lot of product in our facility that we don't want to ruin.